Paddlers, are you ready?
Alright, this is the first group of the yellow boat. This is Kasey, Tara, Jeff, Molly, Nea, Jenny, Dennis, and Lisa.
3, 4,
So, right away we can already see some timing
7,
issues.
8, 9, 10,
So looking specifically, Nea's definitely tends to be ahead, and then Jenny tends to be a little bit ahead too. Dennis in the row 9 there, pulling out your paddle really early. So you want to try and hold the pressure a little bit longer. So everyone who's kind of behind Jeff, a little bit of rushing from the first couple strokes too. I think this is the first piece where I mentioned we have a little bit of caterpillar from the back. So just looking at the timing, that's something we want to be a little bit more aware of. Notice that for this boat, Kasey in row 1 is holding the pressure really long in the back. So when we have our longer pieces, we want to be doing that. Make sure we don't rush the strokes by planting it in early. Nea, I think you can see this on a different video better, but by the time your blade is fully in the water, your blade tends to be a little bit negative. So you want to try and reach a little bit further with the bottom hand. Maybe add a little bit of, open up your chest a little bit, and that'll help you get there.
There you go, Paul, look up.
Yeah, for this piece, definitely, video is a little bit far, but definitely the timing throughout the whole piece seems to be kind of off. So it does get better in the later pieces, but we want to be able to adjust that on the fly as soon as we kind of detect that. Be able to feel when you're a little bit out of time. So another thing I can kind of just see from here, Dennis's paddle in row 9 is flaring out really early and really high. So you want to keep the paddle a little bit closer to the boat. That saves you a little bit of energy, and that you're not flaring it out so much, but also just holding the pressure a little bit longer in the back. So in this piece, I think we missed the first couple of seconds at the start, but so we want to look at Molly is doing a really good job with her body, moving forward and back without pressing downwards, getting the paddle in quickly. Kasey, you've got a really long stroke, but you are just kind of pushing them a little bit at the front. You want it to be a little bit smoother, a little forward and back. And Tara, if you look very closely with your body moving forward and back with Kasey, yours just moves back just like a hair later than Kasey. So as your blade is going in, as you're putting the paddle in, your body hasn't kind of come up yet. So yeah, you can look at Jeff too. Jeff Kiesel, seat 3. His body and his head is moving forward and back with Kasey, and then your body's just got a slightly different rhythm. So try and sync up the bodies with that motion.
Try and hold that pressure a little bit longer through the water.
Jeff, in general, you look pretty good. I would say that your top hand elbow could be a little bit lower. But you definitely looks pretty good. Maybe reach a little bit lower in the front, but it's not so bad. I kind of more paid attention to the top hand. I noticed in other clips that your elbow tends to kind of come up high above your ear. I'd rather keep it more in front. Paul looking pretty good. Just want to make sure you don't bend that elbow early. And keep that pressure to the top hand. Yeah. From this side, body position, Molly is doing really good. Molly in C5. So, Molly, you can work on setting your bottom hand a little bit lower in the front, but you've got the right idea with the body motion. It's forward and back, not moving, top arm is straight in front of you. Looks good. Nea, so you got a little bit of timing issue. You tend to be a little bit early. Paul, you tend to be a little bit late, holding it a little bit long there in the back.
I want you to smooth it out a little bit, yeah.
And then Nea, just be careful. I mentioned before, but I think by the time you're buried, your blade might already be a little bit negative. You want it to be
Steve, resist the urge to look out at your
at least neutral, ideally a little bit positive, but aim for neutral. And then we got some timing issues in the back. I think I know Dennis, you're new, you're working on it, but we definitely don't want to be clanking paddles or anything in the back. Jenni, look like your top hand is reaching out, like it's very straight, which is good, but it looks almost uncomfortably high. So we want to try and keep that a little bit lower, and the recovery a little bit lower. So notice when you pull it out, your paddle comes up a little bit higher off the water. Again, check out Molly. Molly's doing really good with that. Everything is nice and low. Kasey's pretty good too. Just got a little bit of that downward push in the front. We want to get rid of that. But Kasey's doing a really good job of holding the pressure all the way through the back. So yeah, Nea and Jenni, just careful of bending the arm too soon. Alright, so this is a different lineup. Definitely some timing issues starting from Nea and back, and definitely like a negative blade there. Ariane looks pretty good on this side here. So Ariane's another good one to check out in terms of just how does your technique mesh with hers. Alright, definitely timing is a little funky, rushing from the back. So Dennis, you can see how much time you're spending in the water versus spending in the air. We definitely want to spend a little more time in the water. And so Jenni, also your body is not moving quite forward and back. I can see your arms moving. You're frantically trying to stay in time, but we want to kind of control that a little bit better. Relax a little bit more. You look like you're just a little bit tight. So relax the arms, relax the shoulders, and try and lean your body forward and back a little bit more. And Lisa in the back there, you look pretty good. I know it's tricky to time because the three in front of you got a little bit off time, but in general, Lisa, you're looking pretty good back there. Ariane's doing a good job getting low and holding that pressure deep. One thing you can look at is just how steady the top hand is too.
Paddlers, are you ready?
Alright, so this clip we have Alan for a little bit. First thing I notice is like when you get into that set position, your elbow is kind of high. So you want to get it elbow below the top hand and more forward. So this clip is kind of focused on a little more Alan because we got a small clip of him.
That was pretty good. Good, right there.
So you get a noticeably a little bit more rotation than everybody else, which is okay. I don't think you're over-rotating. It's good. Your arms, you're doing a good job setting it low, and your arms stay straight throughout. I would try to get your top hand a little bit lower and more in front of you. It still looks like you're reaching up a little above your head, so I would say definitely don't try and rotate more. But if you look at your body versus Ariane's, Ariane's has like closer to like a steadier forward back rhythm, and you've got a little bit of down at the front, so we want to get a little bit smoother there at the front. Let's see. Paul, make sure you're not looking down. Looks like you're looking straight into the water there. And then Nea, watch for that top hand, that timing first of all, but also just like that wiggling. It's as you're entering the water. Top hand sometimes is a little bit of a wiggle. We want to make sure we solidly grab with both hands before we start to use that. And then on the side here, you can also see Dennis, how much that paddle is flowing out from the side. And then this clip will have Zoey in stroke, so focusing on her. If you look at her the starting position from the dead stop, the wet start, Zoey's position is spot on. Paddles in the water, lean forward, slight rotated, but not over rotated. But that's the position we want to be. So this is a good one to check. If you can pause the video like right when Zoey's blade is fully buried, her positioning is right on. And she's got that steady forward and back, long in the water. Top arm stays low. So Molly, I see you on the other side of Zoey, and you guys are pretty in sync. Looks pretty good. In general, the front half of the boat is looking pretty good. Haul, it looks like at the beginning of your stroke you do a little bit of a downward press with the top hand before your body moves back sometimes. It's not fully consistent. And let's see, I would say Jeff in seat 3, you want to try and reach a little bit lower with the bottom hand. So if you look at the trajectory of Zoey's bottom hand, it reaches forward and a little bit downward towards the gunnel forward. We want to make sure that we're reaching down and forward, not just up in the air to the above the water. Yeah, so Jenni, you want to work on trying to move your body in the same rhythm. Naya, your body is more or less in the right, you've got the right positioning, it's just the timing that we want to work on. And then Dennis, definitely still the timing, and you can get your arms both a little bit straighter too. You can see in the row 1 here, we have Ariane, and you can actually see Molly on the right side. Notice how their arms stay in front of them. They don't kind of bend to get close to their chest ever at all. There's a slight bend because they're trying to stack the top arms, but it never comes in close like throughout the recovery. So try and keep that top arm relative to your body in a more similar spot rather than bringing it forward and close to you. Make sure it doesn't get too close to you as you get to the upper stroke. Definitely timing issues here. Naya definitely rushing, and I think Jenni and Dennis are with you, but Dennis, you definitely gotta try to get that paddle in there a little bit longer, a little bit deeper to get a little bit more pressure to move that boat forward. This one is like a 300-meter sprint. I think this is towards the end of practice. Everyone's a little bit tired. Naya, definitely, your paddle is not quite straight up and down. It's definitely negative too. So work on getting that top hand a little over the gunnel and that bottom hand a little more forward instead of up in the air.